Mark Jeffries, and Matt Pangrak. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Lose, Strike King Lures, Bass Cat Boats, Ducket Fishing, Spro, AFCO, SUNLINE, and TH Marine. BTL coming at you. Good Friday, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that the fans want to talk about. Matthew, it's that time again. Our first SUNLINE Hotline show of 2020. A little bit delayed because of the massive earth-shattering snowstorm that we got here in Oklahoma on Wednesday.
Yeah, but we still got it. It's Friday. We actually, it would have been a very, very busy Friday because the Bass Pro Tour Stage 1 Eufaula kicked off this morning, and it should have been cut day on the Bassmaster Elite Series, and they still aren't fishing, Mark. It's 2 consecutive days of high winds and severe weather canceling the start of the Bassmaster Elite Series season. And remember, they got a tournament next week, too, the 14th coming up. So they got back-to-back. So they're trying to get this in. They've now canceled the first 2 days, and it looks like the full field will now fish Saturday and Sunday. And then they haven't really said, I think that they'll cut to the top 10 then for Monday with an earlier weigh-in, and then they'll head over to Chickamauga.
Yeah. So the system that blew through here is really what's affecting them right now. How many inches of snow did you guys get?
Well, we got up at Tulsa, probably 3. It was kind of a wet snow. It wasn't anything. I mean, it wasn't catastrophic.
Yeah. Down here, it was bad. I mean, it was almost 7 inches in certain areas. Right here at the studio, I took a picture. We had 6 inches here. And the biggest snowstorm since the massive snowstorm that occurred on Christmas Eve. Like 8 years ago.
Was that the one where, was that the ice storm when you lived in your old house where, remember, all of the trees got like 4 inches of ice and then it snowed and it snapped everything?
No.
Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. That
one was wild.
Really, really bad.
All the trees were like touching the ground because of the ice around it.
Yeah, so good show today. We want to hear from the fans. We want to have as many phone calls as possible here on a Friday. We haven't done a Friday show in I don't know how long. When's the last time we did a Friday show?
It's the first one of the year. We've done a couple. We did a Thursday show before, but I'm saying
a Thursday is not
Friday. We
Friday.
probably did 2 or 3 Fridays last year.
Very few Friday shows. So we'll see. I know a lot of people out there probably watching Major League Fishing live. It was a situation, once again, of the cancellation of the Elite Series. And not a great way to get things kicked off for them, though. It kind of sucks
for the Elite Series. Yeah. But I mean, we were talking about this, and one of the things that you like to talk about is I would venture to say that the numbers on Monday on the live for the top 10 on the Elite Series will be really, really good, just strictly because of everybody that's in the office watching the Elite Series.
Monday is
there's a lot of stuff going on the weekends. So
yeah, Monday is a great day.
You've been a proponent of finishing the tournaments on Mondays for a very long time.
Yeah, it's because everybody has stuff going on the weekends. A lot of people out fishing on Sunday, a lot of people doing stuff with their family and their kids and everything else that's taking place from a normal family life. The viewership, I think, dramatically increases from a live standpoint and just from an engagement standpoint when you have the final day on a Monday.
Well, guess what I get to do tomorrow, speaking of things that are busy on the weekend?
I bet mine is better. Let's see whose is better. All right, what do you got?
Well, now I'm intrigued about yours. You go first.
No, you brought it up.
No, so I fished that Podunkers Winter Fishing League. And I ended up, they canceled one and then I missed one. So I only got to fish one. And the championship's on this badass little power plant lake in Arkansas. Yeah. And I got a call earlier this week. Said, hey, man, like 3 guys couldn't get in it. You're next in the list. Do you want to fish it? And I was like, heck yeah. So I actually get to go fish a tournament tomorrow, Mark.
Where is it at in Arkansas?
Over by Siloam Springs, I believe.
That's right on the Oklahoma,
but
Arkansas
here's the thing.
border.
There's like a tiny parking lot for this place, like 12, 15 spots, right?
That's it?
Yeah, so I'm getting there at 3:30 in the morning. The tournament directors are getting there at 4 in the morning so we can
Why?
all put our boats in and then get our parking spot, because once the parking spots are gone, like, there's nowhere else to park there.
You can't park
No.
down the road or
No. So I'm meeting my co-angler at 2 a.m. We're driving there, putting the boat in, then getting back in the truck and sleeping for 2 or 3 hours because takeoff's not till 7. I've never done this before.
Now wait a minute. There's logistics that you have to get there 3 hours before takeoff because of parking?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Sometimes guys park overnight there.
Because of the parking
Yeah,
situation.
this is common around, especially I was talking to another dude from Texas. He's like, there are guys who will line up at certain lakes, park their truck in line because the gates are closed.
Yeah.
Then their buddy who they're fishing with will have his truck behind him. Then they'll jump in the truck, go get a hotel room, then come back the next morning, jump
And
back
leave their
in the
truck there?
in line.
What
yes.
about thievery?
Well, there's a bunch of people in line with the truck. What's the difference if it's at a safe ramp or if it's at a hotel room?
Well, typically a hotel room is a public area.
See, Clay knows what's up. He says,
Yeah.
don't park in the road. They'll tow you.
Yeah.
He knows what we're talking about.
So have you been to this lake before?
Yeah, like 5 or 6 times. It's cool. Unfortunately, there's like one spot where everyone catches them, and since I'm like the 10th out, there's only 10 in the championship.
So what's the water temp going to be like?
I don't know,
since it's a
because they've been
PowerPoint?
like running it and not running it. I hope they're not running it, and then I'll be able to go kind of spread out. Otherwise, it's kind of like fishing in a bucket, because you got the power, the hot water arm, but then it like shoots.
Is it kind of
current
like
out.
Kanawa?
Yeah, except that yes, yeah.
Kind of like Kanawa. It's a lake here in Oklahoma.
when the
folks.
fish are all in that discharge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where the warm water discharge is.
Yeah, it's a gong show. You have 10 guys slinging Alabama rigs at everyone else's head.
Oh, you can use it.
Yeah. I got 2 Alabama rigs, 2 jerk baits, 2 jigs, 2 flatside crankbaits, drop shot,
5 fish.
and 2 spoons.
5 fish.
Every fish counts.
Every fish counts.
1 pound minimum. So we're behind the times. We're still catching the minnows. Do you know what Marty Stode said this morning when
I
it
did
opened
not.
up? I wrote the quote down when they opened it up for the Bass Pro Tour. I got a chuckle out of it. I got to pull it up here real quick.
Lenny in Arkansas wants to know, do you think they'll be on the beds already there?
There's a chance. They are going with the variable weight, the 2 pound minimum, because, quote, 1 pound was just too easy for them.
Too easy, huh?
It's too easy, Mark.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of fish catching going on. A lot of 1-pounders, so not going to happen. In fact, we watched, who was it that we watched? Oh, Randy Howe.
Yeah.
Catch a 114.
Heck, Lenny's saying they'll tow you. I might just leave after the show.
That's a revenue-generating thing there. You park in the road.
Yep.
You're going to make a little cash.
And the ramp is like
Not good.
45-degree angle.
It's not good.
You got to like right turn to get into it, and it's a.
But this lake is
gong
good,
show.
huh?
It
It's
can
really,
be.
really,
It
really
can
good.
be. It can be.
Interesting. Well, that is a heck of a lot better than what I've
All
got
right,
going
your
on
turn.
tomorrow. Dude, no comparison. I got a phone call late, and a decision was made to broadcast the junior high state wrestling tournament at the OKC Fairgrounds. And they want me to provide the streaming platform. And this is I think the second year, Matthew, that girls are allowed to grapple in the state championship.
Okay.
So there's actually going to be a girls division, and it was not broadcast last year. So it's the first time that girls junior high wrestling is going to be featured on the Cox channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done it before. I did it like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. And it's not very... I'll give you this much, dude. These people are insanely passionate about what they do. The crowds. All right, you ever been to the State Fair Arena for a rodeo?
Yeah, multiple times, yeah.
All right, you kind of know. It's just a big bowl and everything. Jam-packed, not an open seat for this junior high wrestling thing.
Cool, yeah.
It's insane.
I got a little cousin who's really into that. My
Really?
parents go to his wrestling matches.
Yeah.
This reminded me. So there's a comment, and we'll get into the ratings and reviews on iTunes and stuff, because I think
Yeah.
you do have a big giveaway.
Yeah,
today.
right here. I have the winner right here in my hands that we'll talk about.
Listen to this one. Awesome show about bowling, the weather, high school basketball, and crappie fishing.
He's right. I mean, We cover it all.
I got
to
a chuckle out of that one.
We try to cover it all. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and announce the winner of the Lowrance HDS Live 12 giveaway. And right here in my hands. And the winner will have 24 hours. We'll count it down, 24 hours to contact me via email.
Mark@basszone.com, MARK@basszone, BASSZONE.
That's right.
.com.
Contact me within 24 hours. And if I receive that email within 24 hours, then you are the winner, and I will get it shipped out to you next week, a $2,000-$3,000 value. Hell, I don't know.
Pretty good.
What it is.
So
Yeah.
take a break, and then we'll come back. You'll announce that. But in the meantime, if you want to chat with me and Mark, you can get the number ready for the SUNLINE hotline. Well, we're 5-6 minutes away from that, probably.
Yeah, it's 405-253-5543 is the number. We want to hear from you. You can ask us anything, talk about whatever you want to. That's the beauty of the SUNLINE Hotline Show. Looking forward to it. Everybody stay tuned here on a Friday.
The ultimate fishing system starts with Lowrance HDS Live. Upgrade to HDS Live with a Ghost trolling motor, live sight transducer, or Structure Scan 3D, and get up to $500 cash back.
Yeah, you care about gear ratios, inches per turn, and ball bearings, but most importantly, you want reliability and dependability in the equipment you use. Luz doesn't cut corners when it comes to the gear they build. The new Speed Spool LFS is the best $99 reel in the market. Go see for yourself.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
Kevin, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm just filling in for Billy.
I need a 660 shad crankbaits in the Series 5 model.
We're out.
You're not out. You got all kinds of them right there.
We're out.
Kevin, I need 6.
Have a lollipop.
I do not want a lollipop.
Have a lollipop.
Do you have it in sexy shad color?
At Duckett Fishing, we have assembled the top pros in the country to help us design rods to give you a competitive advantage. Castability, strength, durability, action, sensitivity, weight and balance, and consistency. Combine that with the best warranty in the industry, and you have rods that are pro-driven.
Duckett Fishing, pro-driven.
I want to share to you a new product we got coming out from SUNLINE. This is the FC leader size spools that we have now. We've gotten a lot of requests for this. A lot of you guys use fluorocarbon for leaders only, myself included. And one of the problems you have is when you have a 200-yard spool, that might last you 2, 3, 4 years. You might even lose it before you even get done with the spool. So we've gone to a little smaller spool. These are 50-yard spool sizes. You know, that way you're not holding your line on forever. You can keep your line fresh, use it when you can, stores real easily in the boat. We got all of our popular line sizes that you're used to with our Sniper from 5 to 14 pound. If you guys are looking for a line that you're only tying for a leader, go check out SUNLINE FC Leader 100% fluorocarbon and give it a try.
Blue Water by TH Marine. Offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Engineered and built to be rugged with waterproof and submersible options. Designed for easy installation, Blue Water is available in a variety of colors and styles. All backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Blue Water by TH Marine.
The name SPRO says it all. SPRO stands for Sports Professionals. When you look at the pro staff that SPRO has brought on board over the past 15 years, it's been pretty incredible. I mean, one got it just then. From the development of the rock crawler to the McStick, from the Fat Papa to the Little John series, when you tie a SPRO bait on, you know it's been designed by a professional to get the job done.
Meet AFTCO's iCast award-winning Hydronaut waterproof system. Hydronaut features a 20K 100% waterproof shell, double dry cuffs to keep water out, speed vent hood engineered to prevent neck strain at high rates of speed, AFTCO exclusive Cyclops tactical camera mount, Comfort Flex shoulder straps for all-day comfort, outerwear that you can count on. The Hydronaut waterproof system by AFTCO. Any fish, any water.
All of us on the Pro Tournament Trail use Gamakatsu hooks.
Why?
Because they are absolutely the best.
It's not about how many bites you get.
It's how many you put in the boat.
Gamakatsu makes hooks for every fishing style.
We didn't come this far to lose fish.
Did you?
For more information, visit gamakatsu.com.
The Big Bite Baits Kamikaze Swim On is a very unique bait, and it's got a full body but with ribs to give it a bigger profile but not more plastic. It's got a jointed tail that gives it a lot of action, as well as this up and down crawl type trail with holes and ribs in it, so it creates a bubble trail almost. This bait is supposed to be fished upside down or vertical like this on a great for a chatterbait. I prefer it on a swim jig as well, but you can also cut it down and put it on the back of a finesse jig. You know, flip it around for some spotted bass or flipping docks. Anytime you want a small, compact, you know, little trailer for it, this is great for it. So check out the full lineup of swim-ons at bigbitebaits.com.
All right, we are back on a Friday, the SUNLINE Hotline Show, and we're going to go to the phones here just in a few minutes. And Matthew, I want to let everybody know this. Yeah, this contest was more or less specifically for our iTunes listeners. And Frank sent me a message. I'm not going to put it out there, but I just want to let Frank know and everybody else know. This is just one. The next contest that we have is going to be really close to the same value, and it's going to be for those longtime listeners that do not listen to us on iTunes. So Frank in Michigan, great point, and I already have something in the works for the longtime listeners and our YouTube people that watch us live on YouTube and also that watch the replay on YouTube. So definitely more stuff coming. I hear you, Frank. I'm going to take care of the longtime fans because without you guys, there's no way that Matt and I could do this show. So greatly appreciate your support, and we will take care of those longtime fans, Matthew.
Did you see it's supposed to be 33 degrees tomorrow when they launch in Florida? I was just reading their article.
Really?
And it was 80 degrees on. It was 80 degrees on Thursday. It's going to be 33 and bluebird skies after a massive cold front in Florida.
The number that I had for the total weight obviously was on 4 days. What do they do with that in fantasy fishing now for the tiebreaker?
Well, just everyone.
Can you go back in and change it?
I don't know if you can. You might be able to change it today.
Because if somebody went in there and put 40 pounds, then
they're going to win.
I know.
Anyway, who knows?
Did you think about that?
Yeah.
You are the fantasy fishing guru.
Yeah, I don't know. It might still be open to change it. I don't know how they're doing all that. I don't know. Give away the unit, Mark.
You ready? All right, here we go, folks. Our winner of the HDS 12, the Lowrance live unit. I got to make sure I say his name right. First name, Kevin. Okay. Last name, based upon his review, is Youngblut. Youngblut. So Kevin Youngblut, you made your review on 1/29/2020. If you send me an email, mark@bassone.com with your contact info, including your phone number and address. I will make contact with you, and you, my friend, will be the owner of a brand new HDS 12 Live from Lowrance.
Congratulations. I have a technical question.
What's that?
You know how to turn off group messages? My phone over here. I'm about ready to throw this thing. I got a dang group message over here. And
no, I have no idea.
I mean, look at that. That's ridiculous. That's in the past like 20 seconds.
I have no idea. Don't know how to do that.
Turn off
how many is in the group?
3.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's not a very large group.
Well, 4, including me.
No, I have no idea how to do that. All right, Kevin, so please send me your contact info. Now, if Kevin does not respond within 24 hours, Matthew,
we draw again.
We will draw another name on Monday. And, folks, it really was random. And you want to tell them how we did it? It was kind of cool. I mean,
no, we did it randomly.
It was very, very random, scrolling all the way through, scrolling back up, scrolling down, scrolling up, scrolling down. Boom, that's our winner.
There you go.
All right, and then I happened to read the review, which was kind of funny.
We put all the names on the floor, and then whichever one Izzy the cat picked.
No, that was not it. All right, we are ready to take some phone calls. And once again, Frank in Michigan, dude, I really, really appreciate you. We're going to take care of you people that have been around for so long coming up here in a few months. Cool thing is going to happen.
Very cool. All
right.
Looking at the Bass Pro Tour, already a marked difference in the 2-pound minimum mark.
Yeah.
I mean, they got 8 guys on the board.
Yeah.
And we've seen a couple guys throw back 2-pound or 114s already.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
All right. It's going to be interesting to watch. All right, let's go to the phones. The first phone call of 2020. Hopefully it works. Let's see. Hey, you're on BTL. Who is this? Hey, you there?
I think so.
Yep, you're there.
Right.
We got you.
You're the first call. Who are we talking with?
Danny in Oklahoma City.
Danny, how are you, man? What's on your mind?
Doing good. A couple things. Matt, great job at the High School Bass Nation presentation. You were excellent.
Thank you.
Second thing is, yes, you can still change all of your fantasy picks.
Okay.
And the third thing was wanted to just get something off of some of the Bass Nation guys' chests. MLF has come in and scheduled their high school, the Open for Oklahoma, on top of the Bass Nation series. The Bass Nation has 6 high school tournament series that's been out since September of last year, and it finishes up in April of this year. Well, MLF decided to schedule the FLW High School Open on top of one of our events. Just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that.
What lake is it?
We are fishing 10 Killer. They have scheduled theirs on Fort Gibson.
I'm taking 10 Killer.
Yeah.
No, I mean, when did when their schedule, when that FLW, MLFLW?
It came out 3 weeks ago. And we've kind of given them our info and asked them not to do that. It basically robs the high school boys of Oklahoma of another tournament.
Yeah. Well, that's what everyone's been having to deal with on the bigger stage. You would hope that on a high school stage, you want to get the guys and girls out on the water as much as possible and give them as many opportunities to make as many championships and experience as many things as possible. But I mean, I'm sure if you ask them, that comes down to hey, there's 52 weeks in a year, and we got to figure out where to fit this stuff in. But that sucks.
Still there?
Yeah, must be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sucks.
It's disappointing because, like I said, want to get them out as many times as they can, fishing against their like competition. Naturally, they can go fish against adults, but love to see them fishing against their peers.
Yep, that's something that Jeffrey says championed for a lot is, hey, quit scheduling on top of these things. And
I know.
hey, we'll have BPT and the Elite Series going at the same time. But hey, about that Bass Nation seminar,
What was this?
Yeah, it was when we went to it was at Shoreline Boat and RV there, Brock Enmeyer's deal up there, and I did a deal on finesse fishing and stuff. And so the first time, this is the second seminar that I've done this. The first time was at Kurt Dove's youth camp, and it was supposed to be a 20 to 30 minute seminar, and I went an hour and 10 minutes. So I was a little nervous this time. I had a little alarm set in my pocket to where, like, hey, if I started going log, so I think I kind of kept it on par this time. But.
All right, Danny. Hey, man, we appreciate you calling. Hey, I would do this. I know you're probably doing everything you can, but once again, I always say reach out and try and communicate. And if you're not getting anywhere, continue to try to communicate and see if you can get that worked out.
Yeah, one quick thing. We have a new director for OBN youth in Oklahoma. His name's Brian Moorhead. And we've definitely been reaching out quite a bit, have gotten nowhere. But, Matt, we have another seminar on the 15th. Lucky Lord, love to have you speak.
I know. I've been looking into that. I'm trying to work around some fishing obligations that I have there because I believe Kenyon's going to be there for that one. I'm trying to get my ducks in a row to see if I can somehow swing.
He's booked, in other words. The man is in demand.
Swing both the fishing and the seminar part, but I'll work on that.
When you guys are in Lucky Lore, say hello to the young man that works there. That's my son. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're very engaged in the fishing world, especially in Oklahoma. Love your show, and thanks for having me on.
All right, man. Take care, Danny. See you.
Brad and I were just up at Lucky Lure the other week working on a project that we will be talking about when he's in studio here in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, when's that going to happen?
Really cool stuff.
Next week or the week after?
I don't know. We need to kind of coordinate and figure out exactly where it stands, but we both had the GoPros rolling, and basically, I could let the cat out of the bag now, can I?
Sure.
Basically, Brad is designing a bait, a soft plastic bait. And he's never done that before, but he had some ideas and stuff. And I'm kind of going along for the ride and filming some of it too. And we're kind of documenting it from the genesis, the idea, like, hey, I like this and this and this in a bait that doesn't exist.
From the rock to the statue.
Bingo. So then that'll all kind of play out throughout the year on Bass Talk Live, also on Brad Hallman's YouTube channel, on the BTL YouTube channel, on Big Bite Baits social media, and then you guys will actually be able to see how it came about. Brad ripping baits up, putting baits together.
That's cool.
Drawing on graph paper stuff. The sending it off and them saying, not this, this. Why is this important? And then boom, you're going to have the bait, and then we'll actually...
You're going to get input from the fans at all?
Well, that's what we're working on. There's a couple different elements that we might be able to do with the BTL viewers to have Brad in here and get it in their hands kind of the first run.
Yeah,
it's
very nice.
Badass bait, too.
Very nice. All right, let's go to the phones. Hey, who is this?
This is Josh from Alabama.
Josh.
Josh the painter?
Yeah,
What's
how you
up,
doing,
Josh?
man?
I'm a doing. I was just going to ask you, in 2020, what is the biggest expectation in the bass industry?
That's a good question. Biggest expectation in the bass industry.
You want to go first?
No.
Why not?
Because I need more time to think about it.
No, I'll say it. I think from an industry perspective, I think you're going to have more consolidation. I really do. We saw it in 2019. I think that trend is going to continue in 2020. I have no idea what companies are going to be bought up, merged, whatever you want to call it. But I think that is the trend. And here's something else. There's so many private equity groups involved in the fishing industry now. And typically, the practice of a private equity group is you buy a company, you make it even more profitable than it was, and then you sell it. So I don't know if that may happen, but there is an enormous amount of involvement from private equity groups. And is 2020 the year that they decide, hey, look, we're in a very profitable position. Let's go ahead and sell it. From a fishing perspective, there is something that I'm just going to say it right now, Matthew. There's something I'm working on that has never happened in the industry that will hopefully take place either in the month of October or November. I've talked to 2 companies now about it, and both companies have agreed to do it. I know it's a tease, and I know nobody out there, they're like, Jeffries, why are you teasing us like that? It's going to be cool. Very, very cool from a media perspective. And the more companies that we can get involved with it, it's going to be the first time that this has ever happened in the fishing industry. So what about you, Matthew?
I think the biggest expectation is you guys are going to get, the fans are going to have unprecedented behind-the-scenes views of these guys that are on tour and people that are in the industries. Obviously, with the kind of Scott Martin YouTube generation, you had Hunter Shryock and Brandon Polinick that kind of jumped on board early on that train to see the behind-the-scenes stuff. But now, I mean, I'm just making a list. I mean, you got Chris Zaldane, who's jumping into it. Polinick, you have Rick Clunn, who just announced that he's doing a big kind of behind-the-scenes YouTube thing. He actually posted on Instagram for like the first time. He's got like 600 followers. You need to go follow Rick Clunn. It's kind of cool. You've got obviously Wheeler and Brian Latimer and what Hallman and Upshaw and Scott Martin are doing. Steve Mooy's doing a behind-the-scenes thing for Missile Baits. I'm doing the thing. You've got a bunch of guys on a bunch of different platforms where I think my expectation is that the tournaments and the results are just going to be a small part of what 2020 is about, and really kind of broadening the entire professional fishing experience, and what it goes into being a professional angler is really going to take a kind of center stage in 2020.
I agree with you, man. That's cool stuff. What do you think, Josh?
Like I said, my biggest expectation, I'm really looking forward to the MLF. You know, they switching it up to, you know, higher weight limits and stuff like that. And then you got the mega tournament where it's going to be, you know, 2, 3, 4 pounds days and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to see how that turns out. And I want to see MLF is, I'm hoping, like, I want to see if they, you know, start interacting out at the ramp and stuff like that, having more interaction with the fans.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to activate at the events?
Yeah, like I said, I want to see like how that works, because like one tournament is kind of close to where I live in northern Alabama, so and stuff like that. Like I said, but I'm also like the Elite Series. I mean, it's always exciting to watch the Elite Series, in my opinion. Then again, I'm a Rick Clunn fan, so I'm hoping he does a 3-peat at St. John's this weekend.
Yeah.
And, show that he's dominated there. I also had another question. My other question is, in 2021, we're bringing in the other pro series.
The NPFL?
I was wondering on both sides, the fishing aspect and the business aspect, how much of a major impact would, or what kind of impacts is that gonna put for the industry?
Well, you know, we're going to have Al McCullough on next Wednesday, who is the man behind the NPFL, and he's going to announce the first 10 anglers that have agreed to make the move in 2021 and fish. From a business standpoint, from a sponsorship standpoint, Josh and Matt, it is going to be really interesting to see how these companies split up their marketing dollars and what large companies, because let's face it, you might get some small companies that choose to defer their marketing dollars to this NPFL because maybe it's not that much money compared to getting involved with the 2 other major ones. So it could create an opportunity for smaller companies to get involved. But at the same time, the larger companies that are necessary from a revenue standpoint for that to survive, now you're splitting the pie up even more. So I think Al's got a massive, massive challenge on his hand to support it with the large companies because it's unproven. It hasn't been done. Many, many people in this industry say that the industry cannot support 3 major tournament trails So I don't know, man. I look at it as an opportunity for some smaller companies to get involved because I don't think, obviously, the price tag to get in is not as high as it is with Major League Fishing and bass. So that's my take, man. What about you, Matt?
We also don't know exactly what his marketing strategy is and who he's going after. I mean, he might have a very unique marketing strategy that works. I know that they're planning on live streaming. You have a crisp, clean live stream. You get a couple of characters or anglers in there that are well known regionally. And if you're trying to split up the piece of the pie, I mean, like maybe everyone's trying to split up the apple pie and he goes after a strawberry rhubarb pie and no one's had a slice of strawberry rhubarb yet, so he gets half the pie.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely a wait and see thing. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of initial interest in it just to see how it's run. I mean, they are talking about big money, $5,000 entry fee, looking for expansion in those 3 years, and the commitment from those anglers having over a year and a half to put this whole project together. So I think it has potential, but I don't think you can even remotely try to guess the impact that it'll have until you'll see how it's run.
I'll say this much. The dude is working his tail off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every time that we've talked, he's somewhere on the road, selling, trying to position this with so many companies to get it going. So it's not from a lack of effort. Mr. Al is doing everything he can to try and make this thing successful.
Josh, is that something that you'll watch?
Like I said, I'm willing to watch anything. I'm a fishing fanatic, so I watch just about anything.
Yeah.
Like heck, I watch Gene the Fishing Machine with my dad. Like every time we get the chance to go up there.
There you go.
That's cool.
So like I said, because like I said, I'm a grassroots. I'm at the bottom, and something. It really excites me because it seems like it's maybe a little bit easier for me to get into that pro circuit versus some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll see what Al has to say on the progression of what he's trying to accomplish next Wednesday because he's going to be on the show.
Yeah, like I said, one last question. Y'all going to be at the Classic?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there 3 days. What about you, Matt?
We haven't even talked about that.
Yeah.
We typically get there the day before, or so we can do the media day.
Yeah.
And then
I can't get there till Friday. So.
Well, that's the day of the tournament's.
Yeah.
Second day of the tournament, isn't it? Or no, first day. First day.
Yeah.
So I'll probably get there on Wednesday.
Well, I'll be seeing you then because I'm going down as media. So.
Very nice.
And everything like that. So, all right, it was good talking to you, and I hope you have a good rest of your day and not freeze your butt off like I am.
All right. Take care. See ya.
All right. Bye.
All right. Long-time listener there, Josh the painter. Yeah, we'll see what Al has to say on Wednesday, Matthew. Like I said, man, this dude is traveling all over the country, meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. But I just don't know how many dollars are there.
That's what I said. You don't know what dollars he's going after.
Yeah.
The SUNLINE hotline number is 405.
Yeah, I've got it on the screen.
253-5543.
There it is right there on the screen.
Well, I know. I'm just saying it out loud. I listen to other college shows. They always say the number. They don't. I've never heard another college show just be like, read the screen and call in. They say the number slowly and clearly pronunciated.
We're a little different. All right, let's go to the phones. Hey, who is this?
Hey, is this me?
Yeah. Yep. Who is this?
Hey, this is Chad McDonald, first-time caller from Walkersville, Maryland, believe it or not.
Maryland.
Nice. What's on your mind today?
Oh, man. Well, excited this year. This will be the first year signed up for all the Northeastern BFLs.
Cool.
Very cool.
And just looking to get you guys' input. I was also looking at maybe fishing Bass Nation stuff. And, again, I don't have any real experience with tournament fishing other than just being an avid angler, and kind of get your guys' opinion on what you gravitate towards, either the Bass Nation stuff or the BFLs or maybe something else.
Well, Matt is the expert when it comes to the nation. I'm old school when it comes to that because I still call it the federation.
Boater or co-angler this year?
The first couple I signed up as the first two as a co-angler, and then the last three as a boater. Just kind of again, trying to get the feel for how to launch, how to act, and don't want to be holding up everybody if haven't done the process before.
Matthew?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how we've just had this talk. I don't know how the Maryland Nation works as far as how that is. You have some states that are more laid back than others. I mean, is that a deal where it is the boater co-deal there, or you guys fish it against each other? Like I said, each state does it differently.
And that's I was kind of reading into all like the bylaws of Maryland, and like there's it seems like every little section has its own thing almost, so it wasn't as well regulated as like the BFLs, which kind of led me to start with that just because it was easy to understand and what I'm kind of going to get to expect out of it.
Are you a member of a bass club right now?
No, but there is a couple real close by, like Westchester County or something like that, and that's all about the Upper Potomac type stuff, and they do a lot of tournaments out of there, and that's what I was looking at starting, and I was figuring on calling the director of those and kind of getting some more info, or at least try to get some clarification on how they operate, because a lot of it seems like it's all over the place versus the BFLs. You show up, you pay your money, everything's activated online. There's the rules are all there, so you kind of know.
All right, here would just be my advice for a guy just getting into tournament fishing. You talk to a bunch of different guys, everyone will tell you everything different, but I would start at the club level. Fact of the matter is, there's some guys who treat the BFL like the frickin' Bassmaster Classic. You get one of these guys, and then they're going to be like, I can't believe it. I mean, but 90% of them are great too. But here's what the club level allows you. You seem like you're a dude who just wanting to learn and get into it. Like the club level, there's going to be a bunch of guys who will help you. Yeah, there's a bunch of guys. You can break unwritten rules in the club and stuff like that and tell a man, hey, I'm looking to learn and all this stuff. And I think it's just a much easier break-in process. Launching, getting ready for the tournament, the whole 9 yards.
Sometimes it's more of a social event.
Yeah, but I feel like you get that under your belt for a year or two at the club level. And I'm not saying you can't just jump right into a BFL, but I mean the BFL's kind of boom, boom, boom back in every. So I mean I would definitely suggest, not saying don't fish the BFLs, but I would definitely suggest, especially if you're jumping into it as a boater, to start out that club level. Just find the list of the guys and just call the tournament director up. I mean, that's how I got into it. I fished with the Assumption Bass Club and the North OKC Bass Masters and stuff like that. And it's just a good way to get the repetition and the understanding of how that all works and get the butterflies out, and then go ahead and try the BFLs too as the co-angler. But I mean, dude, I've had a couple co-anglers in BFLs before, and they got in and they're like, listen, this is one of my first tournaments. Want to make sure I do everything right. I know there's a ton of unwritten rules in here. Just let me know.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of what I was looking for. That sounds like the kind of the way I was leaning towards, but because of the lack of, I guess, knowledge or the lack of information put out there, or the standardization of information, it led me to the BFLs, only because everything is posted and you hear everyone talking about it, and you can kind of understand or what to expect going into it a little bit better.
Yeah, you might be able to find
call the guy.
Yeah, call the guy. See if they got a Facebook page for any of the clubs in your area. I'm sure you can get on Bassmaster too. They can tell you what clubs are in your area that are bass affiliated. I'm sure you could do the same thing with the TBF if you want to get into it on that side. Both the nation and the nation and the TBF are not owned by Bass or MLFLW, but they're affiliated with, whereas a Bass Club is part of Bass. You know what I mean? Like you pay your Bass membership dues and stuff. But yeah, I totally agree. Like it's kind of convoluted and kind of muddy. But you just get the right guy on the phone and he'll explain everything and how it works, and that's the step I would take. Fair assessment?
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, thank you much, guys. And again, a long-time listener, and your show is great. Love it. Look forward to it every day.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
Yep. Take it easy.
See you.
I told you my first tournament.
My
first tournament was because of Casting Kids, and I got into it, and I drew the dude named Bob Evans. And he gave me his top secret Pommy spinner bait, and I was throwing it on Gorilla Braid with a Zebco 33. I was 13 years old. We were on Lake Shelbyville, and they had just stocked Tiger Muskie in Lake Shelbyville. He had 3 of these spinner baits from the 80s, because this was the late 90s.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, 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 no. And I look back, and there's a muskie waking this pommy. It was a spinnerbait you could fish like a buzzbait. It was a
Really?
It was really badass. They don't make them. Huh. And he's like, don't let it eat that thing. Well, of course, I got a muskie behind it. I'm 13 years old. I've never seen a muskie. I let the damn muskie eat it. Pommy gone.
Done.
Second one, Lake Decatur. Twice on this guy, and I've told this story. I told it on AFCO Bass Boot Camp. First club tournament ever. I mean, like, you catch 3 fish, you're getting paid.
Yeah.
And I drew Chris Bruner, and he missed a fish twice while he's re-rigging his salt cry. Flip back in there, catch the fish that he just missed. And I had no protocol, so I said, dude, you just missed that. What did I caught it? Then I did it again, and it had the dang salt cry in its mouth. And I said, look, here's your bait. You want your bait back?
Wow.
Guy was super nice.
Wow.
I tell that story all the time. I was like, he could have just been like,
Yeah.
what the hell is... And I mean, I told the story, and one of my buddies is like, man, you know you're not supposed to do that. You got to give the guy in the front a chance to catch that thing again. You can't just flip on top of him. My thought was, Dad, there's a fish there, and he missed it.
That's funny, man. That's a bait you don't hear too much about anymore.
The salt craw?
Yeah.
Yeah, these were the original salt craws. The ones that were flat. They didn't even have packaging on them. They just came in the plastic, kind of rolled up plastic bag.
Yeah. That's good
black
stuff.
Grape, red glitter, Producto, paddle tail worm, 6.5 inch, and that black salt craw with the neon blue pinchers. Or black and chartreuse was also a big one.
Yeah. They still make them.
Then the Madman Mooney Ham craw came out. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it was over.
Yep, and then I think Pradco bought the mold to the Mooney Ham, and then now that's their craw tube.
Yeah, and then they bought Gene LaRue this past year.
So they got
they got
all the alternative craws on the market.
More consolidation. All right, let's go to the phones. Hey, who is this?
Hey guys, this is Rick in North Carolina.
Rick,
long time listener since the XM days.
Great, man. What's on your mind, Rick?
Well, I don't know how much this has been talked about, but the MLF, kind of no Redcrest this year, so they're moving it to the spring next year. And, I mean, obviously it's in competition with the Classic. And that kind of leaves us, I'm like Josh the Painter, I'm a weekend guy, hardcore. That's going to leave us with a choice that I don't think a lot of people want to make. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, here, let me go first. First of all, I think it would be a disaster if they tried to compete with the Classic. I mean, I know what they're trying to do over there, but there is a very, very long history, as everybody's well aware of the Bassmaster Classic. They are not anywhere near the point to try and compete with what they have. I think it would be much, much better for them. If they want to move it to the spring, that's fine, but showcase what you showcase and don't try to compete with the greatest bass fishing event that takes place on the face of the earth. All right?
Wholeheartedly agree.
Bottom line. Now, I'm not saying that their championship is going to be bad or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're going to have the Redcrest, put it on a week that you don't have to compete and you're not up against anybody, to where the fans, the sponsors, don't have to decide on making a decision or try to split up their loyalty and their fandom to either organization. Bass can do what they want to do, Major League Fishing can do what they want to do, and the fans and sponsors benefit from both. What do you think?
That's well said. I agree. I understand, like I said, I think that to some point they are trying to push the issue. Would you not agree?
I agree.
That they are saying, hey, we're here to compete. We're here to go head to head. It's like they're pulling into the same area as that guy who's won the club championship 10 years ago and saying, hey, we're flipping the same grass mat and we think we can outflip you.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Now, and I understand the reason. Bigger fish, it opens it up to more techniques, but like FLW owned August and September and July, for that matter, because there was that tournament break that went on. So what did everyone talk about? The Cup leading up to August. It was a totally different style of tournament. It allowed those anglers to stand alone and then have that month to kind of highlight their stuff, and the Classic is so holds such weight that it doesn't get overshadowed by anything. But now if you have the Redcrest and the Classic and the start of the BPT season and the start of the Elite Series season and the TNPFL season starting and the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit starting, I mean, that's all going to happen in February or March.
Yeah.
That's 6 major things, a brand new league, 3 professional organizations, not to throw in the Bassmaster Opens too on top of that, and the Costa Series. That's a lot of fishing in a compacted area, and I think with the Redcrest not holding nearly the weight as the Classic, I mean, we're going in, our second Redcrest in the 50th Bassmaster Classic?
Yeah.
It's going to be easy to forget that. Because you're going to have the Bassmaster Classic champ, you're going to have this new league, all this stuff that's going to go down. And, Clint Davis and Brad Knight and those guys who won those cups, I mean, they just pop right into your head now because they got their 2-3 months leading up to it and after where they were highlighted, and it didn't feel like the cup was in competition with the Classic.
Look, let me just say this. When you compare it to other things that take place from a media perspective, forget about fishing. There are events that happen that other organizations just say, you know what, we're not going to schedule on top of that because of what's taking place. I mean, you could look at the Oscars, the Academy Awards. There's not a whole lot of other television shows that are trying to showcase what they're doing on Oscar night. Obviously, the Super Bowl. Super Bowl's the same way.
I think Rick hung up.
No,
he's still there?
Yeah,
I heard the Skype. No, we went on this rant, and now what do you think about it?
No. And it showcase what you do well and put yourself on a platform to where you can do that to the best of your ability, to where the entire focus is on you. What do you think? Rick?
No, I totally agree with you. I can't imagine having to choose between, if I'm lucky enough to attend, if I could attend both of them in a perfect world, I couldn't imagine having to choose one or the other, because they both have merit. Although I think a lot of us, especially us older guys, think the Classic is still the Classic and will always be the king. But I totally agree. I can't. I'm a little worried about everything that's going on with all these new things and new names and new sponsors. Where does, at some point, it seems like the dilution of everything is going to, degrade the professional level of everything. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. But
water it down.
Water it down.
Water it down, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. Like, so you and your buddies, let's do a hypothetical thing, Rick. You and
Absolutely.
5 of your buddies get to go to either Redcrest 2021 or the 51st Bassmaster Classic. Is that going to be a debate? Or do you guys all know which one? Where are you guys going?
I'm going to the Classic. Yeah, going to the Classic. I mean, I've attended several, both as a spectator and working them, and Classic hands down. Maybe the Redcrest is the greatest show ever. I don't know, but that hasn't happened yet. We know what the Classic is, so I think, 5 of my buddies, if we have to choose, we're going to the Classic.
Well, if you had an opportunity, if they were on different weeks and different times, would you even consider going to both then?
Yes, I would consider going to both. Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go.
But if they're on the, God forbid, the same week, I can't see. I think a lot of us guys that have been fishing for a long time are going to go to the Classic. Now, some of these younger guys just coming in, they're probably going to be more to the hype of the MLS. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, guess we'll get to see.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what it comes down to, if they have it in the first quarter, 4 months, or 4 weeks in a month, 3 months in a quarter, 12 weekends. And if Redcrest is going to be anywhere but, Florida or Louisiana, it's really like 7 weekends. So it's going to probably be within a month before, after the Classic, either way. It's got to be.
How about a Redcrest on the Delta?
Yeah, I mean, the Redcrest anyway. I mean, the California Delta?
Oh, yeah.
You really want to make a splash.
I mean, when you want to be the first one to have a major event.
You got Skeet. You got Ayler. You got Cody Meyer.
There
you got Mark Daniels Jr.
We're throwing ideas out there, folks.
You got Aaron Martins.
Yeah.
You got Ish.
Yeah.
You got Ish.
Yeah.
And Gary Klein's from out there.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's you make some great points, Rick, and man, we appreciate you being a fan for such a long time.
Absolutely. I got one more quick thing.
Yeah.
When Mr. Aiken was on last week, I was expecting something about it, but do you think, or have you heard, is Bass going to increase the coverage of the Opens now? Any kind of TV coverage? Or are they just going to let Scott Martin and Brian Latimer do it?
I know that behind the scenes there was talk at Bass, based on my unnamed sources, that they did look into the live streaming of the final day of the Bassmaster Opens. Logistically, you look at where those venues are. They were not chosen based on live stream. They were not chosen based on signal. There was a lot that not planning by the time you have to have everyone in the studio. And you're talking a massive undertaking for that.
And expense.
So I can understand why there's not, especially after they increased it to all 4 days for the Bassmaster Elite Series. I know that they did have their A-team at the first one in Florida as far as photographers, writers, coverage of that, and that they're actually using more of those open anglers who are trying to fish both divisions in coverage. I know that I think Upshaw just came out with like some fantasy picks for this week, so I think they're kind of using that YouTube social media platform to increase their coverage of the Opens this year, but I don't think there's going to be any live coverage that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I appreciate it. Sorry I took so long.
No, it's all good, man. All right, appreciate it, Rick. See ya.
Yep, we'll see you. Thanks.
All right, there you have it. Rick in Virginia, long-time listener.
Yeah, we went on a rant there. They just asked a question. We went on our...
No, it wasn't a rant. It was just, our thoughts. Hey, by the way, Scott in Virginia on the instant feedback, I'm working on getting the P.O. box set up for next week. We will talk more about that little idea that Matthew came up with. What I think it's really, really cool. So we'll get into that a little bit more when I get the P.O. box set up. All right, let's go back to the phones. Hey, who is this?
Mike Asano from New York.
Mike, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind, man?
Well, so I'm sorry I missed the first part of this. There was a lot of federation discussion, I'm sure. But I guess I have a question for Matt. How long have you been fishing the federation, Matt?
Boy, I fished the Illinois Bass Federation for 4 years in like 99 to 2003. And then...
Okay, so you...
Yeah, and then I took some years off when I went to college and, was playing hockey all over and stuff, and then started fishing the Oklahoma Bass Nation again. I want to say in 2009 or 10, fished it for a couple years, took a couple years off, and now I've been fishing it for the last 5 years.
Okay. So you remember back when basically Bass had the multiple divisions and you just had to be the highest placing finisher in your division?
Yeah, that's the way it is now. Yeah, Jeffrey's won. You won that?
Yes. Dude, I could actually catch fish.
Where did you get to go because you won that?
Fort Gibson.
Was it the national championship?
No.
It was the regional?
Yeah.
Wait, so you were the first in what? Sorry, we're off track here, but Jeffrey's just held up a dusty trophy that says 2006 Central Division.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah, but I guess what I'm getting at is the classic slots. There were more classic slots.
Yeah, there were 6.
Yeah.
Yes. So basically, when you were coming out of a division, so I was the president of the New York Bass Federation, but we also had an Eastern Regional. So you wanted to qualify. So basically, our trail was set to qualify for the 12 guys for the divisional team.
Yep.
Okay, that divisional team, once you made that divisional team, I forgot what the math was, but I think it was like you had a 1 in 96 chance at making it to the Classic, because you basically had to beat 11 guys on your team to be the highest finisher for New York.
Mm-hmm.
And then you only had to beat, no matter what, wherever the national championship was, you were only competing against guys from your region. So
Mm-hmm.
if they had a Texas event on Lake Fork, well, I'm not worried about beating the Texas guys. I was only worried about beating,
Yep.
the Eastern Regional guys.
Yeah, that changed in
And that-
2016 on Lake Conroe was the first year of that. It went from the five divisions to the top 3 finishers in the Bass Nation Championship, regardless of what division they were in.
And my question to you is, and I don't know if you've got the experience or the historical numbers on this, but my opinion, when Bass did away with that format, we saw a dramatic drop in participation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the dramatic drop would have been the split between the TBF and Bass.
No, the split was long before that.
Yeah.
The split was before that.
So you saw a drop
we
between
dealt with the
15 and
split.
16.
Oh yeah, and even from now on,
Mm-hmm.
the drive, we're not seeing. I mean, we used to average, when I was running it, we were averaging close to 80 boats for 3 or 4 events, and that's 2 people per boat. Because we had the boater and co-anglers.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of it went down to when they changed. A lot the boater co-angler thing. I think a lot of guys dropped that because there were a lot of co-anglers who fished that out of the back of the boat, but you got control of the boat for half of the day in those tournaments, so you could qualify out of the back all the way for the Bassmaster Classic and never own a boat.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
It was a good deal, but I think even if they don't go to that format, I guess my point is, I personally think Bass is missing an opportunity to win back, because the Federation Nation Anglers, I'm with Mark. I call him the Federation.
Yeah.
So Federation Anglers, they're losing that group because of the fact that they've given up some of the Classic qualifying slots and how they're qualifying. Because once you make it to that championship, they're advancing the top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're heads up fishing against guys who, it just, the equity of it always, that's kind of what disenfranchised me. I mean, I wound up fishing BFLs from this point, just because I feel I got a little bit more of a chance.
Yeah, but dude, Mike, I would rather finish. I would rather have 3. This is me, and I fished 2 of them where the top 3 guys go to the. I would much rather fish where the top 3 guys go than where the top guy in each division goes. I would. I didn't like the fact that a guy who finished 14th in the Bass Nation could go to the Bassmaster Classic and the guy who finished 2nd didn't, just because a guy in his division caught him better. Like, I'm totally cool if 2 guys ahead of me catch him, but if I finish 3rd, I mean, I'm in a division where Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Alabama, all that stuff. So I like the top 3 instead of the top guy from each division personally.
So here's my counter argument to that. The purpose. So I agree from the standpoint of the straight up tournament. Yes, 100%. Mm-hmm. But the purpose of those Classic slots were to grow the Federation. And from a growth standpoint, so from a growth standpoint, when you're the guy coming from wherever the tournament, you're coming furthest from California, poor people in California that got to go wherever, they're up against it. And to compete heads up against the guy that lives 2 hours from a body of water is not equitable. And I think that's where they're seeing the drop in participation. I understand from the straight up tournament perspective.
No, that's a great point too. Yeah, I mean, was it matter to me if I'm in California? I'm cool competing against California, New Mexico, Nevada on Lake Gunnersville, but if I have to go beat the guy from Alabama, Georgia, and Louisiana and Florida on the same place, then there's not really that much incentive to me, because I feel like I can do better against guys in my region. That's a valid point. I hadn't thought about it that way, but I mean, dude, it is the Bassmaster Classic, and I want the best guys at that Bassmaster Classic. I see it both ways,
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, New York's the
I guess
same way too. I mean, heck, if I had to go up and compete on Champlain or Oneida or anything against that, you guys are going to have a big advantage if they have it up there in New York. So, I mean, if I was in that position, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather compete against the guys from Oklahoma trying to figure out a natural grass lake.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and that's where those are the years that we would see participation increases. If, if the schedule's out and we know where that regional is going to be or where that national championship's going to be, which the national championship's never going to be up here, I think, based on the timing. But I have one other really, really important question. So fantasy fishing, now that there's been 2 days delayed, what are they doing with that? Or 2 days canceled for the elite?
It's just going to be the same.
Somebody said on the instant feedback that you could go in and you could change your roster.
It was open. I don't know if it's open today, but I mean the points and all that are going to be the same just based on where they finish, even though it's a 3-day tournament.
Yeah.
So we got to readjust our weights, is what I'm getting at.
If you can, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the tiebreaker doesn't mean that much unless you come down to the end of the year where you get an extra point. Or you win the overall and you're tied with someone for first.
Hey, are you in our group, Mike?
I'm in the group. Yeah,
okay.
I joined the group.
All
so
right.
I'm going to
Very
be donating, or not donating, but finishing near the bottom of the pack as usual. So.
No, I don't.
All right.
You have a little confidence, man. Jeez.
You should be competing against other fantasy fishermen from your region, Mike.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Mike.
Exactly.
Man.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Great show.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
See you. Long-time listener there.
Mm-hmm. I see what he's saying.
That's a valid point.
But, I mean, when it comes down to it, dude, I don't want to finish third and go home, and a dude who finishes 16th goes to the Bassmaster Classic. That would I know 2 individuals that happened to.
Yeah.
And you thought I was ticked off about them canceling the Forest Wood Cup and not reimbursing us and all that, not getting to fish in it. Try finishing second in the Bass Nation Championship and watching a dude who caught 22 pounds less than you go to the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah. That's the way it was, man. That's the way it was. All right, back to the phones. Hey, who is this?
This is Tyler from Columbus, Ohio.
Tyler, how are you, man? What's on your mind?
Good, man. I am the third of the trio from Columbus Bow Company, giving you guys a call.
Heck yeah! I just used my big stick yesterday on a Pacifico.
Oh, damn! There you go. We got some stuff.
Look right here. Hold on. Here it is in the studio right here. The Big Stick bottle opener from the Columbus Barrel Company.
Yeah.
And don't you also, is it one of you guys, and I'll let you get to your question here, but I saw on YouTube you had a Columbus Barrel Company wrapped boat. The boat wrap was an oak bourbon barrel. That it's fishing the opens and doing kind of a behind the scenes YouTube series. Is that one of you guys or just one of the anglers you sponsor? Or?
That's me, actually. Yes, that's me.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So you the pain of being very close to making the Elite Series several times, and then.
Yes, actually, it's been a little bit unfortunate. Last year, I think I was 10th, which was 2 spots out of the cut that they went down to, and then the year before that, when they went down so much, I had actually tied Greg DePalma in the points. But he won the overall yearly tiebreaker, which I think was the biggest bag from the year. And so I was the first guy out that year. So, yes, I do know the frustration, and it definitely sucks.
I didn't mean to bring it up like that. It was more of a compliment. Matt. It was more of a compliment to the other listeners that Tyler knows what he's doing. It wasn't like, hey, remember that?
Wow,
remember those 2? That's okay. Jeffries will consider that total failure, Tyler.
Yeah, I'll definitely probably cry, after I get off the phone. But
what's
it's all
up?
Good, Well, hey, I wanted to call just because we love your show here. You guys are awesome. You guys do something that I feel like no one else really does. There's a lot of other podcasts out there, but you guys are the only ones that I think a lot of listeners will not miss. And so I just wanted to say thank you. You guys rock. I did want to bring up just one thing, or maybe 2 things. And real quick, we talk a lot about, and you guys talk a lot about, kind of different sports and how they relate to bass fishing. It's one of your guys' favorite things to do. And you know, with all this talk about growing the sport and growing the sport and growing the sport, you know, I wanted people to realize that I think that fishing can be as big as sports like golf, but I think we really have to attack it almost out a different way. You know, I was a marketing major from a high state, so go Buckeyes. You guys are going to hate that. But anyways, did you guys know that there was 41 million fishing licenses bought last year in the United States? 41 million. And if you look at some statistics on like the amount of golfers there are in the United States, it's 24 million, right? And of those 24 million golfers, there's 9 million avid golfers, right? And I'm just saying that I think Major League Fishing, now I'm not against anything that they're doing. I love that they're trying to, I don't like the format. I mean, I'm just a 5-fish guy. But I do like that they're trying something new. But they're talking a lot about like getting your wives interested and stuff like that. And my thought is, why are we not focusing on guys who already have a rod and reel, you know, and just getting those people to start bass fishing and maybe looking at bass fishing tournaments? Again, there's 41 million, you know, people who bought a fishing license over the age of 16 that bought one last year. Why are we not focusing on those people, and instead of we're focusing on the housewives or whatever it is that they may be focusing on?
All right, let me say this first, Matthew. And what he's referring to, all this statistical data, is the census that takes place, I believe, every 10 years from, I forget the government agency that does it from a recreational perspective. Am I correct on that, Tyler?
Yes.
Okay. And now
the golf one is a little off as far as their data because it's been a while. But
right.
Yes.
Okay. So here's my thought on that, and I hear what you're saying. I've always said that from that 41 million pool that they're trying to pull from, look at it from a demographic standpoint and from a geographic standpoint, and go where the people are that you don't have participating. In other words, the events that they're putting on, and I know there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of it is driven by money. I've said that a zillion times on how much the communities are willing to pay. But if you really want to expand and capture those people that yes, may have purchased a fishing license but have no idea what BASS or Major League Fishing is, well, what do you got to do? You got to go showcase what you got in the area that is not getting the exposure. So when you continue to go to the same bodies of water over and over and over and over, how are you going to expand to that audience out there that doesn't know? Answer that one, Tyler.
That's true. No, I think you're absolutely right. I think that, you know, your first impression of a tournament when it comes to town, like, you know, a lot of these towns are putting up signs and stuff like that, and you know, you go to the Bassmasters Classic and they say welcome anglers. So if you're taking that and you're going to different communities and people like semi know what bass fishing is, or maybe they just like to fish in general, and all of a sudden I see these signs that are saying welcome anglers, welcome Bassmasters, welcome whoever, and they're going to these different things. And yeah, that's a great way to get the avid fisherman or the guy who just has a boy who loves to fish and get them interested in tournament bass fishing. So yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
So let me ask you this. How many people do you think that bought a fishing license in the state of Alabama, or more directly in the circumference of Birmingham, Alabama, know that the Bassmaster Classic is going to be in Alabama?
Oh, a bunch of those guys did.
Oh gosh, I would say half of them.
See, I think it's more. I really do.
It's Birmingham, Alabama.
That is the kind of the birthplace when it really comes down to it.
They know about Nick Saban and bass fishing, dude.
That's it. That's how they roll. All right. Yeah. But what if the Bassmaster Classic or the Redcrest was to take place in
why don't you use Philadelphia as an example, on the steps of the public on the bank of the river where Ike won? Did you look at the crowd there? That was the first time they'd been there. You didn't see sublimation. You saw a bunch of people that were down the boardwalk going, this is pretty cool.
Exactly. So taking the game to areas that are not really exposed to the game, but have those licenses that have
that's
been
a double-edged sword, though, because I also want to see him go to Chickamauga. I also want to see him go to Eufaula. I also want to see him go to the St. Lawrence River. Nothing.
What's wrong with mixing
I think
it
there
up?
should be 2 or 3 wild cards a year, total wild cards. But here's what it all comes down to. If those communities aren't paying for them to
They're
go
not
there
gonna
or
go.
don't see the value in it, they're not going to go.
No.
So there are a lot of really unique, great fisheries that their Chamber of Commerce, the state, whatever it is for their marketing budget doesn't fit into it. That's why they ended up in Decatur, Illinois for the 2012 All-Star event. They had like this city betterment fund stuff, and I know I got all that wrong.
Yeah.
Basically, they had funds that they had to spend on it. Someone was like, let's bring bass fishing tournament here.
Yeah. Tyler, the vast population on the West Coast, and I talk about the West Coast a lot, about how that is an untapped market. And I know in previous years they have went out there, they've tried to dip their toes, but you know what? You got to jump in the pool.
Oh, they got 170 in the Arizona Open.
Dude, you just can't go out there and dip your toe in the pool. You got to dive in and swim around. And to establish that criteria of trying to capture that market of people that just don't know what bass fishing is, but they have a fishing license, think about the masses that exist out west.
Oh, yeah.
So
Arizona, Nevada, I mean, all those states out there, there's fisheries there, and there's bass fishermen there that, I mean, I would hate to, I would imagine being from one of those states, they'd feel a little slated from bass and all these people just not going out there. Like, I love when they went up to the California Delta. Like, who didn't like that, you know?
I've said it on the show before. One of the greatest events that I ever attended that was not the Classic was the first time that the Elite Series went to the Delta. And the weigh-in took place in this park, and you could look back from the stage all the way back to the street, and it was nothing but a mass of people in Stockton, California. It was crazy. There was at least between 5,000 and 6,000 people there that were absolutely nuts over what was taking place in that park on that Sunday. So I don't know if we'll ever see it. That's always one of the questions that I have when we have executives and upper management people on the show is, when are you guys going to get the West? That's where I know it's tricky. I know California has weird laws and all kinds of other things that you have to overcome, but that is where that mass population exists to grow the game. If you want to grow the game. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think we have the fishermen, we have the people who love fishing in the industry. Like, we just have to attack those people, not necessarily the person sitting on their couch flipping through golf channels or whatever on whatever day.
What else you got?
Just one other quick thing. This is probably, it's been talked about, Matt. I know it's close to you, but, the guys over at Major League Fishing just got, from what my calculations are, $50,000 from 2 guys. That's about $100,000 total. And there's 12 guys that are still left without a $10,000 check. So you do the math, and it's pretty close that $100,000 could go a long way to helping those guys out, those 12 guys that qualified for the Cup but didn't get in. So I'm just saying.
If you don't know what we're talking about after the show, go watch Andrew Upshaw's video on YouTube and Travis Manson's video on YouTube. That'll fill you in on what's going on there.
Yeah.
All right. New product. You guys just came out with new stuff. I'll give you a chance. I've been trying to get Jeffrey's. I think I'm going to end up having to go to his kid's wedding. I lost the invitation. He's getting married in May. I don't know when I'm supposed to.
May 1st.
I don't know when I'm supposed to RSVP or whatever. But I'm trying to get some wood cufflinks or something. Anyway, Jeffrey's is cheap. He doesn't even know he has to give a speech at this thing. But seriously, no, these guys sent us that hat that said the BTL on it, laser etch.
Very cool.
This stuff. He sent a shirt that said grab life by the barrels, which is awesome when you wear to barrel races, and then you're like, no, it's a bourbon shirt. ColumbusBarrelCo.com, and if you're in the outdoors, if you are into the fishing stuff, looking for unique stuff that you can engrave and then like send to people anywhere from like $30 all the way up to like $3,000. If they take like actual parts of the bourbon barrel and then engrave it, turn it into like everything you could ever imagine. So if you're looking for something like that, like I said, they're not paying me a cent for it. I got a bottle opener and a t-shirt out of this. It's
Well,
cool
hey,
stuff.
That's awesome. And just for your listeners as well, you guys use the coupon code BASS25, BASS25, and you'll get 25% off those orders. So
there you have it.
definitely do that. We also got a few things in the works for you guys that we're going to be sending your way here before long. So
very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. All right, man. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys.
All
You
right.
guys are awesome. I'll
All right.
talk to you later.
Thanks, man. All right, there you have it.
I didn't mean to bring it up, but I was like I said, what did I say? I think this is the year about the behind the scenes stuff. And he had a great, and I hadn't seen it. He had a great, and I said, oh, that's Columbus Barrel Company. It's a cool wrap. So I ended up watching it and stuff. And he
That's
fished
cool.
out there, and and I looked up his stats, and I was like, dude, you could be that close twice, and like you should be on the Elite Series
Pouring
fishing,
salt on the
and you like
wound,
lose
dude.
the tiebreaker.
Jeez.
Like he's like super upbeat, positive about all this
Yeah.
stuff. So that's a good. I don't even know how to find it on how I found it, but
Yeah.
that's a good watch there too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go to the phones.
How
Hey,
many
who
more
is
we do?
this?
Kevin from West Virginia.
Kevin, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, not much. I wanted to tell Matt that, West Virginia is actually a state. We're not a foreign country. I did listen to that.
That's awesome.
I have friends in West Virginia. I was
yeah.
just giving them a hard time.
Yeah, the bass fishing here is not great, but
That's funny,
I
Kevin.
did. I wanted to expand on the last caller. One of the things that bass fishing seems to not include are minority fishermen. And there's a few guys, but by and large, the minority population just doesn't seem to be marketed to very well. What do you guys think about that?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think Ike tried to open that up a little bit when he was doing
City limits.
When he was doing city limits and some of the areas that he's done. I know Mike has been over active in the Philadelphia community, trying to get minorities involved in bass fishing in the Philadelphia area. I know Ish has done some stuff in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and both of the organizations have done a lot of urban fishing programs and projects where you go to the city park that they'll stock beforehand and then bring out a lot of the kids that wouldn't have access or wouldn't typically be able to go fishing before. But as a whole, it's a great point.
Yeah, and Kevin, what are your thoughts on this? I want to ask you this. Part of the reason why is think about how expensive this game is, and when you look at the demographics of trying to market and trying to help out, the minority anglers or minority communities and the situation of what the demographics are from an income level, it becomes very, very challenging for the tackle companies maybe to get involved, maybe some of the boat companies. If that is an expanded demographic, I think, yes, absolutely, there could be more.
And I think you're
involvement in
seeing
that
more. I
stuff.
mean, look at the number of followers and interaction. Now, it's not from an organization; it's an individual. But like Brian Latimer, I mean, that dude is awesome. He's got the fishing is dope and all that. And then Mark Daniels Jr. with what he does on it, and also Ish. Ish doesn't do like the YouTube stuff as much as those, but like.
Definitely a challenge. I think it's a massive challenge because you have so many limitations, especially from a dollar standpoint.
But isn't that the perfect opportunity though for like new kayak series to go into those areas? I mean, smaller bodies of water, cheaper to get into.
It's a great point. Great point.
Yeah, so I guess I would like to see more emphasis on that. I mean, talk about a step up. You could start with the kayak angling all the way up to, then work your way into, the bigger series. I mean, that would be, and talk about a story. That would really be a story.
Yeah, I agree, man.
It's a
good point. Yeah.
But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I love the show and keep up the good work.
All right,
Thanks,
man.
Kevin.
Appreciate it. All right, let's do two more calls. All
You
right,
got
boy.
you don't have class today?
No, I do, but we can go to the top of the hour. So either one or two more
What have we
calls.
had? Oklahoma, Alabama, Maryland, North Carolina, New York, Ohio, And apparently West Virginia's a state. I didn't know that.
Jeez. Wow. Yeah, he kind of slammed you on that one a little bit.
Yeah, he said, remember when the Classic was in Orlando? What about Chicago? Wasn't that trying to broaden their horizons? Woo Dave's Classic in Chicago? Or was that just horribly executed?
Yes.
That was just poor execution, more so than anything else.
Yeah, and you can't use that as a metropolitan comparison because that whole thing was a disaster.
The last TTBC, didn't they take it to like FC Dallas or something there? The one that Matt Herron won? Wasn't like the weigh-in and all this stuff like in the middle of downtown Dallas? Like 4 years ago? The last Toyota Texas Bass Classic before Bass took it over.
No, they did it at a rodeo place in Mesquite, didn't they?
No. There was like... The problem is you don't remember these because like that expanding urban stuff like worked in Philadelphia. It was magic there.
Yeah.
But like the other massive metropolitan areas...
Well, I talk about the
Houston.
Megabucks or whatever it was that they had back in the 80s or 90s in Dallas where they had bleachers around the lake that they were fishing and they were jam-packed.
I mean, what about Houston, though? I mean, that was not as many people as you would have thought attended.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot going on when the Classic took place in Houston.
Would that not a draw? Was that not a non-traditional... I mean, that was a major Texas traditional fishing. I know they have Conroe and stuff there, but there's a lot of people in Houston that weren't exposed to bass
fishing. No, I agree with that. But what do the masses do for the most part in the Houston area? They fish offshore.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's kind of the characteristics about that. Anyway. All right, let's go to the phones. Hey, who is this?
It's John from Illinois.
John, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, a little birdie told me I'm in Monticello, Illinois. I think Matt might know where that's at.
Yeah, I've been to Monticello many times.
Do you ever get back to Illinois?
I typically go back over Christmas or Thanksgiving, and then if I'm like driving through the area, I'll stop by Decatur and see my folks every now and then. But I'd say 3, 4, 5 times a year.
Oh, cool. Hey, I have a fishing shop in Monticello, and I sell kayaks. And I know, have you ever been on kayak?
Never been on a kayak.
Doing the fishing.
I've canoe fished, but I've never been in a kayak.
Not going to get my butt on a kayak, dude.
No, have you seen the new ones though?
There's no way. There's no way that this 6'4" freak of nature could function in a kayak.
I don't think you've seen. I don't think you've seen the latest and greatest
Have
kayak.
you not seen me? You've seen me. Do you think I can seriously function in a kayak?
You do fall off the front of a bass boat occasionally, but
dude.
Anyway.
Oh, you'd totally be able to do it, man. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall, about 270, 275, and yeah, trust me, you'd be fine. But anyway, if you're ever back through the area here, I'll be happy to take you out. I got a bunch of demo kayaks at my shop. I sell kayaks, so and if you're ever back through this way,
all right, yeah, shoot me an email. Give me your contact info to matt@basson.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly will. But yeah, we're also excited about the Bass Kayak Nation that's going to be going on at the at the Classic the day before the Classic starts. So we're all pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that's the second one because they did right before the Cup. They did a FLW had a sanctioned kayak event too. Mm-hmm. And now at the Classic too. Yeah. So those guys
be at Logan Martin.
Yeah,
is that right?
Those guys trailer their kayaks. They have 3 or 4 different ones. They got wrapped vehicles.
What are they like pitching wedges? I mean, what are you talking about? Really? Seriously?
No, they have extra. I know Ron. I
got 3 wedges.
We got to get him on the. We got to get him. I told him we would have him on the show. We never did. Was Ron Champion? Who's at the all of the media events and stuff. I mean, it's just as technical as bass fishing.
I'm sure it is.
You just don't go somewhere as fast. You have to launch on a public ramp.
Really?
Or a public access.
You can't just launch from the shore.
No, not in the competition.
As long as it's public access. If it's a park or something that's up against the water, you can launch there. It doesn't have to actually be a boat ramp as long as there's public access.
Yeah, they just want to keep you if your buddy has a place way up the river, you can't just launch in his backyard. I mean, they want you huffing and puffing out there.
So you're not making a 20-mile run then,
No, sometimes they do. He was telling me, we got to get him on. He was telling me they just did the Worlds at Australia, and they had to kayak against the current 5 miles just to get to where the fish were.
Hey, I'm going to say it right now. If there's anybody out there that's willing to get my 6'4" freak of nature in a kayak and film it, I'm more than happy to do that, but I just can't see it happening.
Oh, well, I have doing the BTL behind the scenes.
I mean, I'm not going to be in Illinois anytime soon, but I don't think I could do it. I don't have the functionality. I don't think.
I think you could.
I
You
would
don't
love
even
to
have
try.
to row. You just have to like ride a bicycle, basically.
Yeah, but like landing the fish and
That's
making
why
the
we would
casts
definitely
and-
have multiple GoPros on you.
I don't know. All right, we'll see.
Do you have a favorite lake up here, Matt?
I was just talking to my buddy about it. All the lakes that I used to love to fish are like sucky now, like Taylorville and Powerton over by Pekin. Actually never fished Clinton as much. Lake Decatur was never that great to be. You know what? I do not have a favorite lake in Illinois.
There you have it.
I guess if I had to pick one, I liked fishing Springfield. Was always a good lake, and as a power plant lake as well. But I would fish the Thursday nighters on Springfield with a black ribbon tail.
Clinton has really come back quite well. They had, I think, the first tournament last year. They had 2 8-pounders weighed in.
Yeah, Clinton's on big. It's just small. And
Okay, hey, John, real quick, if somebody wants to get a kayak in Illinois, where can they find your stuff at?
That's JDiz Fishing, JAYDIZ Fishing. We have our website. Best way to get in touch with us is on Facebook at JDiz Fishing. Carry 3 major brands, all made in the USA, and happy to take people out on demos. And I'm actually a fishing shop that sells kayaks because that's what I'm into. So that's where I'm at.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Very cool, man. All right, people, check it out. All right, thanks, John.
You bet. Bye-bye.
we're selling bourbon barrels, kayaks.
That's what we do here.
All sorts of stuff.
Swap shop right here. It's turning into.
Did you see that email the dude from the Baby Bass ABC's book sent?
No.
There was a spike in sales after we mentioned it on the show, Mark.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, one more phone call and we'll wrap things up here. Somebody on the instant feedback said, "Can you let us know what's going on with all the guys being dropped by hook?"
I can't.
I don't know. There's a lot of assumptions there, but we do not have an official statement from Hook. So that's something that I am working on, and I'll see if I can find out what their official statement is. All kinds of speculation out there, but I would rather go to the source and get a statement from them and say, hey, here's why we've dropped everybody, and go from there.
If they even have.
There's a lot of guys that don't have the logo on their jersey.
It was mentioned in the Best on Tour email. Some of the changes are just the guys who did not have Hook on their jerseys or listed as their sponsors they had in the past. So
I'll see what I can find out on that. All right, the final call of the day on the SUNLINE Hotline Show. Who is this?
Hey, my name is Danny Daniel. I'm calling from Lufkin, Texas.
Lufkin.
Yeah.
What's up, Danny? What's on your mind, man?
Well, I'm 63 years old. I'm a retired teacher. Used to coach a little bit, so I kind of relate with you. I fish some old folks bass club deals about once a month, kind of like you do,
nice.
Mark. And also have a little club where I fish once a month called Saturday Bass Anglers. But I wanted to get the perspective of between you and Matt of what y'all do as far as I know Matt. He does a lot of the electronics. He's always talking about, like live scope and different things like that, on the crappie fishing and then bass fishing. But what do you do, Mark? I mean, me and you are the same age, basically.
Yeah.
So what goes on with you?
As far as from a technique standpoint, or getting ready for a derby, or, I mean...
Oh, no, just what do you use?
From an equipment standpoint?
Yeah, like what do you like to throw?
As compared to Matt.
Well, Matt, we've talked about it on the show, dude. If there's a topwater bite or a football jig or a Carolina rig, I'm all in, and that's when I perform my best. The electronics thing, I use my electronics a lot different than what Matt does because I'm kind of old school. I'm looking for the ledges. I'm looking for the drop-offs. I'm looking for the rock piles. And then I back off, and I'll throw a big crankbait, or what I really like to do is throw the football jig and the Carolina rig. What Matt likes to do is Matt is all about finesse fishing. I mean, he's kind of the video games guy, where me, I just like to identify the structure and go, okay, they should be on this structure and then key on that structure with either a football jig or a Carolina rig or a big crankbait. I love to sight fish. You know, Matt and I have our derby. We didn't do it last year where we go heads up against each other when the spawn's taking place. My eyesight is still fairly good, and I love bed fishing. Sight fishing is just something that you get addicted to, and I've done it for so many years that when the spawn happens, I go into convulsions if I can't get out there and actually sight fish for a little while. Obviously, if you've listened to this show over the number of years, my fondest thing to do is throw a topwater. I could go out. I don't care if I only get 2 blow-ups in 10 hours. I can go out and throw a topwater for 10 hours and go back to the ramp with 2 blow-ups and go, man, I had a great
Danny,
day.
basically what it is Jeffries is at the point where he's looking to have an enjoyable day doing what you like to throw. So your goal isn't to go out and learn a new repertoire or get better at something, whereas I'm the exact opposite. I would rather be miserable on the water but feel like I learned something or expand my arsenal. So it's like 2 completely different kind of trains of thought. Now, obviously, I like to go out and enjoy, but like Mark isn't going to go out and be like, I need to learn that technique. He knows what he likes to throw. He's going to throw that, and he's going to throw that for the next 20 years.
Yeah, I have just an enjoyable time. Like the guy that I fished the old man derbies with, his name is Ed Barton.
And he's really good.
He's one of the best anglers in the state of Oklahoma. He's never been out on any of the national tours, but he's won a zillion BFLs, a zillion team tournaments here in Oklahoma. And he's the guy that if I get educated on anything, it's with Ed. Because Ed is a power fisherman, and he actually taught me, and I got hooked on this for a couple of summers on the swim jig, because his backbone of knowledge comes from living right on the Arkansas River in eastern Oklahoma. And the lesson that I got fishing a couple of team tournaments with him, throwing this swim jig around structure, was priceless, because not too many people get to experience what I got to experience with this guy that is just a manster on the Arkansas River. So that's one technique that I will say has expanded my horizons that I really, really enjoy. But unfortunately, you can only do it, a certain portion of the year, kind of like throwing a topwater. But here lately, that was probably the one technique that I wasn't really confident with. But because I went out with Ed and Ed showed me how to do it, I'm really intrigued and really enjoy going out throwing a swim jig now around structure. So for your age and for what we like to do, I think that's cool to be able to, you're not out there trying to master something, from a tournament perspective, because your livelihood depends on it. But what you're doing, you're enjoying learning something new. And then when you can go out and not have any pressure and really apply what you've learned and be able to catch fish in doing the technique that you just learned, dude, that's just fun. That is fun, and I would do it, a zillion times if I could. So that's kind of how I roll.
Hey, I want to ask you one more question real quick.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between a topwater and a Carolina rig, which would it be?
A topwater. I'm not kidding. And Matt has seen it before. I will go out with 3 rods on the deck of the boat, all with topwaters, and I'll throw it all day long. That's just me. There is something that is addictive with the thrill of seeing that fish. I don't care if it's 10 inches or 24 inches. Seeing that explosion that takes place on the top of the water, it's just like Matt loves hunting these large crappie that he's addicted to right now.
Oh, I'm done. I got the bass stuff back in the boat.
I know, but
bass
think about
stuff
it.
is in the boat. Crappie rod's out.
I know, but when you were doing it, dude, you were obsessed.
Yeah.
You would chase 1 3 or 4 pound crappie.
Not a 4.
The entire day.
Maybe 30 minutes. You're into
That's not what you told me.
30 minutes to an hour for one that I thought was 3 pounds.
For one bite.
Yeah, it's what I wanted to do.
All right, so see that it's what he wanted to do, and that's just kind of how I roll. All right. The other thing is one thing with this topwater thing over the years, and believe me, I have talked to a zillion people about this, is how much does the color of the bottom of the topwater truly matter? Think about that one. If you like to throw a topwater, how much does that color really and truly matter? So just one day, man, when you get a cloudy day in like April or May, late April or May, depending on what part of the country you're in, have like 4 or 5 colors, see which one works, see which one doesn't. But I'm going to bet you probably a dozen donuts that all 4 colors will work.
You can't eat donuts, so that's not a very big
Good point.
Okay, I sure appreciate y'all's information. I enjoy your show.
All right, man. Appreciate it, John. Or Danny, I'm sorry.
Danny.
Yeah.
Danny Daniels
Yeah.
down there in Lufkin. There's a little topwater action close to Lufkin,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. So, dude, that's just how I rolled. You know, that's it. You know, that's why I don't fish tournaments anymore.
You enjoy it.
I like doing the fishing thing and going out and doing what I like to do.
You know, I tried that topwater all day thing. I zeroed the first day at Lake of the Ozarks. It's not fun after about hour 3.
You just don't like it. You just...
Because you're all jazzed up, and then after the first couple hours, you're like, oh, it's going to happen. I'm committed to it. And then after about hour 3 is when it kind of starts creeping into your head. But then you get rejuvenized because you're like, oh, I'm going to get that afternoon bite after everyone puts down the top water. This is where I'm going to make the money because I am going to have the balls not to put it down and keep it in my hands. So then it's like 12, 1, 1:32. You got a 4 o'clock check-in. Now you've wasted the morning bite without anything. You've already fought through the I'm not going to catch crap phase. Now you just got through the, oh, I'm going to catch him in the afternoon phase. And then the next stage is total and utter defeat where you just say, screw it. I only got an hour and a half left. On principle, I'm going to throw this thing until it's time to check in.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the phases of fishing a topwater all day.
Yeah, no, you're right. Someone on the instant feedback said Ish Monroe does the same thing. I remember the last tournament.
That's where you got his baits.
Yeah, that BASS had co-anglers. I fished with Ish that day, and what do you think we did on Lake Oneida?
You threw a vixen. It was the first time you'd ever heard of the Reaction Innovations vixen.
Yeah, and I still have that vixen that he gave me that day, and we threw a vixen the entire day, all day long.
Now you're gonna have to start throwing that sexy dog. It's good.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. They get the same colors.
Yeah,
I think they make a black one. That's the only color you throw.
Yeah.
Give them a color speech, and then you look at your box.
No, you understand the point I was trying to make, though.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, so many people that I've spoken with said, color doesn't really matter.
Well, this was a long show. This was longer than Jimmy Houston's show, Mark.
Yeah, it was good stuff, though. Good stuff. Really, really appreciate everybody taking the time to call in. I know there's a lot going on, and it is a Friday, and normally we don't do shows on Fridays, but quite active on the instant feedback, obviously quite active on the calls.
We got to wrap this up because I have to leave to get to the boat ramp for my tournament tomorrow.
Oh. Yeah, if you came in late, you'll have to listen to the replay to catch Matt's little pun on that one. All right, everybody, we are back on Monday. We will have an individual live from Lake Eufaula for Major League Fishing.
First BPT.
Do what?
Side of the first BPT stop.
Yes.
Right now, if it's from Group A, there's a 50% chance we're going to interview someone who's zeroed.
They're not doing well, huh?
Well, only 21 have caught a fish out of the 40, but they're only through the first period.
Yeah, plenty of time left. And then on Tuesday, we're going to have a Elite Series guy live from practice. I think it's going to be Cliff Prince.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're working on that.
He's my A group guy, man.
Yeah. So we're going to have Cliff Prince on, working on that on Tuesday, live from the Chick. And then Wednesday, Al McCullough going to announce the first 10 anglers on the NPFL.
You think there'll be any big surprises? You think there'll be some comeback guys that you're like, oh, he's back in it? You think there'll be some guys that are like, he's making the jump?
Dude, he hasn't
You
told
think there'll be 10 guys we've never heard of?
I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what the first 10 names are. We'll see. Maybe a mixture of everything. So that's going to go down on Wednesday. All right, everybody. Make sure you have a very safe weekend. Congratulations to Kevin Youngblood. Hopefully
you wonder
I said
if that's
that right.
his name or his screen name.
Just
I don't know.
Nickname or whatever. We'll see. Hopefully I will hear from him within the next 24 hours. All right, Sunline Hotline show coming up later this month. We'll do another one. They're always really good. And once again, thanks to all the fans that participated. Back on Monday. We're out of here.